Hello and welcome! Tonight on the show, the guys at Goya provided us with the medium salsa Verde. Boy, we are so excited to have you. This is Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. We are Sauce Spoken, with a podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. My name's Adam, and I'll be your host. And I'm joined here this week by my co-host, Tori.
Yo! There's Mr. Roboto over there. Yeah, my name is Tori, and we're here to knock the cobwebs loose. I know I certainly have several cobwebs. It's like a haunted house in here. But to my right, he's just handsome as ever. And his name is E. And here he is. And that's all I got for you tonight. We love having you here, our co-host and friend E.
Except for attacking my place and all my spooky cobwebs in here. I mean, I get it. I don't dust often.
E, that wasn't directed towards you. I just got done.
It does apply though.
I just got done sneezing, so I felt like I was on Jupiter.
Wow.
There's definitely long, draping, dusty cobwebs in all my corners of my house. There's no doubt about it. So maybe not this particular room, but throughout the house.
We're the critical eye.
That's right.
Okay. Interesting.
I did not get to dusting this weekend. I tried to do some cleaning, though. I just shook up the dust is all. That's why you were...
No, it's time to catch up with the hosts.
Time to catch up.
Eric, I know we were just talking about our weekends earlier before the show started. I know you said that you had a long, really hard time remembering... We shook things up a little bit because I was on work travel, which threw the whole balance off, and... you had a really hard time remembering what you actually did this weekend. You were so busy, so involved, so much stuff going on, you just couldn't remember it all.
I was definitely drawing a blank, probably because of the lack of things that I was supposed to do. There was, I recently downloaded the app Meetup, which I guess is like an app that's been around for a long time. It's actually been around for almost 20 years now.
Oh.
And I remember being told about when I was in college, and my neighbor recently was saying, oh yeah, we should go, he's on the app as well, and so he was saying, we should go drinking downtown at the Hofbrauer House, or we should do this or that. There's a biking group that I've favorited. I've favorited a bunch of things. I haven't actually, committed to going to anything.
That tracks.
Because I hate committing to anything. That's right, exactly.
Going to Hofbrauer House, to me, is so... You do it once when you're, college age, and that's sufficient. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
It's just nothing... The food's... fine. They play the same fucking songs every time you go. You go drink a lot of beer, you have fun, you dance on the tables, and you realize how fucking hokey the whole thing is. You're like, I never need to do that ever again.
Yeah, I'd happily go to Penn Brewery any day over
yes,
Hofbrauer House.
Absolutely, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yes. Can't dance on the tables there, but you don't feel like I'm just being, blatantly pandered to, as a stupid, touristy type thing.
Agreed.
No pandering here. It's a pander-free zone.
Penn Brewery is a pander-free zone, and that's the way we like it.
Yeah. Well, soft spoken in general. No pandering here.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. The show's brought to you by Barks Root Beer. As always. Barks has bite. It's good since 1898.
So yeah, I took a very relaxing weekend. I crushed Ozarks, and the season 4 of that, the finale. That was cool.
I'm sure that was very important.
Is that the one they filmed in town?
No.
Ozark?
I didn't
believe so. Filmed in Missouri.
Okay.
Doesn't it take place in Missouri?
Yeah, I think so.
I know they filmed some bumpkin-ass town. That was the set. It was in Millville, in fact.
Huh.
But it was a Netflix special or something like that, and it was Appalachia or some mountainous thing.
They film all kinds of shows out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. They always call some people have referred to Pittsburgh as the Hollywood of the East Coast, but it's really...
I've never heard that.
I feel like every town has been referred. Plus, wouldn't that be New York of all places?
You would think. But.
Yeah, that's definitely not Pittsburgh, but okay. I think it's just Pittsburgh is the affordable...
exactly, it's the affordable option.
Yeah.
More affordable.
The affordable city in the Northeast.
You need something, a grimy setting, maybe coated in 100 years worth of steel dust.
I do think they come to Pittsburgh when they're looking for grit.
Yeah,
they're looking for something
Tim Burton flick or
gritty,
Batman,
kind of dark and broody and crunchy as they come here. So
yeah, I just recently watched an old film called Out of the Furnace, which is filmed in South Braddock, entirely.
That tracks.
Yeah. Any good?
It was good.
How many Eric heads would you give it? Out of 5.
How many Eric heads are there? Okay, out of 5, I'd give it a solid 4. Yeah, it was Christian Bale, Willem Dafoe, and Woody Harrelson.
Wow. and you were sick the rest of your weekend. Your dad came over to visit, and that brings us to today.
Yeah, pretty much. I think trying to think about what I did. Monday night I had a cookout, and Tuesday night I went and saw Doctor Strange. Well,
you had a cookout? You went to Nathan's
I went to
house
someone else's house. No, my dad's friends.
Okay.
Cooked for us.
Okay.
So we had dinner and beers there with Dale and Brenda. And then
they just sent an email. They said, please redact their names.
I'm sure they did. They
don't want to be.
Too.
They said they're fine being associated with the show. It's you specifically they don't want to be associated with.
And then last night I hooked up with some other friends from Home Depot. We all went We all went and saw the new Doctor Strange.
Hooked up with some friends.
Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't not realize
it's the only hooking up Eric has been doing lately.
Oh my goodness! Give the kid a break.
I didn't realize that the small. I'm not
really one to talk at this point, so Eric's gone on more dates than I have recently. So
even small little theaters could serve alcohol. I mean, I guess anyone who gets their alcohol license. I just didn't realize. I got in there and I saw my buddy with a beer. I was like, "What? Wait, how'd you get that?" Up there at the concession stands, get yourself a beer.
Nice. $27.
Yeah, it was a little pricey. It was like $6 for Sam Adams. So
that tracks.
Boston Lager, yeah. But the movie was good. So that brings us to today now. Yes, Tori, how have
caught
you
up?
How was your weekend, Tori?
How
was your week/weekend? Well, Eric already started, and then he chickened out.
Well, spent a lot of time in the old sauna, babe. Spent a lot of time in the old hot box.
You spent time in the sauna when it was 90 degrees. Wasn't it like 95? I was out of town, but wasn't it like 95 degrees?
Saturday was a hot one.
Saturday was hot.
You're in the sauna?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On Saturday,
brother.
95 degrees. You can just go sit outside, and it's like a sauna.
No, dude, you catch at least 25, 30 degrees in the box.
Jesus Christ.
I'm a fiend, dude.
I'm surprised you're still alive.
Just roasting my insides.
Yeah, Jesus.
An hour at a time. So yeah, man, I had it really cranked up. When it's hot like that, it's easier for the sauna to get hotter, so you top out faster instead of in the wintertime.
You gotta be wondering what that's doing to your brain cells at some point.
I don't care. I don't
just imagine the fucking, like, do you remember how they say, like, this is your brain on drugs and it's just like it fries the egg? I just figured that's what's going on.
that is literally what is happening. I would consider it more of a crock pot.
It's just sizzling your brain away.
Yeah, but boy, that is a treat.
Okay.
I really like it. Yeah. So
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I will not be joining you in the sauna.
You should. I do it 95. In the nude.
Did you have your air conditioning on?
Hell no.
No.
Get out of here with that.
Would you ever run your air conditioning if it wasn't for your wife?
Absolutely not.
Wow.
No.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
there's a certain point where I tap out and 95 will do it. So
yeah, that shit wouldn't happen.
Wow.
Yeah, Saturday was hot. I turned on the AC. Kept it at like 76, I think, in here, but
it was nice because, like I said, as I mentioned, I was on work travel out in Cleveland, Ohio, which is always a treat. It's roughly where I'm from, but like there's a reason it's where I'm from, not where I reside. So I'm actually from the other side of Cleveland Fairways, but that Northeast Ohio in general is where Eric and I hail from. But yeah, the only benefit there is that the air coming off the lake tends to be a little bit more humid and kind of tempers the weather a little bit, so you don't get those quite as dramatic highs and lows as you do in Pittsburgh. Not that we get, that serious of weather, but it's a rare day to have 95 degrees in Northeast Ohio. I will say that. And that was actually quite chilly. I know the one day it was 55 up there, and it was the day when it was like 85 and sunny here, so that's a pretty typical event too.
Is that Sunday?
Yeah, I think so.
Damn.
It's like 55 and raining. I remember looking, there's like a 30-degree difference.
Oof.
Which has happened to me quite a few times before coming to visit family, where I drive a Jeep, I think, as I've mentioned before, and I'll take the top off because it's a nice sunny day out, 85 degrees, beautiful weather, and then as I drive into Ohio and it drops 30 degrees and it starts raining, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? So.
Whoops.
Anything else fun you did this week, Tor?
Let's see here. Put on my thinking cap. No. That was it.
Cool.
Yeah. A lot of sauna sitting. Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of sauna sitting, a lot of gymming. Doing good and strong.
Strunk?
That's right.
Good.
That's it, man. That'll do it.
Well, this is going to be our Memorial Day episode, probably, unless I decide to change the order of it. So it's TBD. We're recording potentially farther in advance, but we have kind of since we did that live episode, we have kind of a interesting mix-up in the episodes right now, so we may not be on our perfect weekly schedule at this point. Maybe a little bit ahead. Or it might be on schedule. I don't know. TBD. But
stay tuned.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is that this is our Memorial Day episode, And we're not going to quite get to the sauce yet, but I did want to mention that one thing that is nice about Western Cleveland, the west side of Cleveland, is that they have a little outfit out there called Swenson's, which is like a burger joint. It's like a drive-up place, and what makes it particularly of note are two reasons. Number one, they have a burger which is called the Galley Boy, which is a double-decker burger, cheese, and 2 special sauces.
It's awesome.
Which really tickles me. I was like, wow, that's cool. And I will shamelessly admit that I actually learned about this outfit from another podcast, which we mentioned before on the show. I actually went to Cleveland to see a live showing of the podcast, The Doughboys, and that was the restaurant that they were reviewing for that podcast, and that's how I found out about this place, because I'm not from the west side of Cleveland. I would otherwise have not known about it. I stopped there. It was fucking delightful.
Nice.
To put it mildly.
Now, this was recently then? Or are you doing it Swenson's? Okay. You learned about the place.
Learned about
the
Swenson's
Doughboys prior.
Like a year or so ago. Okay. Yeah. Actually, it was 2 years ago now. It was quite a minute ago. So, because I remember it was, my mom had heart surgery, and that was when I went and I picked up Swenson's on the way home from that after she'd had successful surgery. And it was like the sweetest meal I've ever had from Swenson's.
A sweet meal from Swenson's.
But no, they've got a variety of different things there. They've got potato teasers, which are like a cross between a potato, like a tater tot, a jalapeno popper, and a mozzarella stick almost.
Ooh, that sounds good. Amazing.
Oh, they're great. They are truly an innovation, phenomenal. And they've also got a really amazing fish sandwich. Like an actual fish, not like a fillet of fish thing with a square piece of fish on it, but like an actual, like, legitimate fish sandwich for like $3.
Oh,
they've got it's good. Yeah, it's good. It's straight good too. It's not even like good. It's good.
And at $3, you can make that a weekly habit.
Yeah, seriously. I went up there, and they also have a really good sloppy joe, a big greasy hopping sloppy joe, which is something we talked about recently here. Definitely seemed like their own sauce. Didn't seem like a manwich or a Del Grosso, but. Yeah, and then they've got this Galley Boy, which, like I said, has 2 special sauces, which they don't tell you the names. They don't really give you a whole lot to clue in on that, but I think it's pretty clear if you do like a little bit of a dissection that they are primarily like a barbecue sauce and like a tartar sauce, which sounds weird too, but on a burger, oh, they're so good.
Damn.
It's a good combination, huh?
Because you got to figure, like, you throw pickles on a burger, and what is tartar sauce but not just mayonnaise and pickle?
Sure. Good point.
And you figure barbecue sauce is a gimme, and it's a sweeter barbecue sauce. It's almost like a very sweet barbecue sauce, almost like not even quite very tangy. So it's that's a good combination.
Damn,
that is hella good.
It sounds real good. I didn't eat dinner.
I might be bringing some back for us next time. I have to go out there again tomorrow, and then probably another couple weeks.
Cryogenically freeze it.
Yeah, I might be freezing them. It's not a long drive back. They could easily go in the freezer and be fine for whenever we record. I just don't know how well they would reconstitute with the sauces and all that, but I would think probably fine. The In-N-Out sauces made it, but without any further ado, that's going to do it for us with the Swenson's talk. I highly advise people go check it out, listen to the Doughboys. Obviously, they did a show on it. If you listen carefully, you may even hear me as one of the obnoxious people in the crowd, although you probably won't recognize my voice.
Nice. When's our next live show?
Good question.
I have something maybe possible lined up, so.
For a live show?
Yeah, potentially.
Did you tell somewhere else that we're food critics?
Yes, of sorts.
Is it the Olive Tap?
No, it's my one of my managers who also owns the restaurant here in Heidelberg.
Oh, yeah.
We could potentially go down there and, try sauces, get ourselves since I know the owner, maybe I could get him to turn off the music overhead and for an hour while we record our podcast.
Turn off the music so everyone can hear us.
No, there's sports TVs and whatnot. They'll have other shit.
You must listen
to keep the other patrons happy. I'm sure.
One way to get listenership up: have them lock the door,
or that. Yeah. There we go.
Put us in the center and all the tables around us facing us. All right, well, with all that being said, let's move on to the actual sauce that we're going to be trying here tonight. And Tori, you brought this for us this week, so do you want to lead us off with what we're trying?
Sure. Yeah, I was telling these boys that I had a little mini panic attack in the grocery store because I'm torn. I never know what to get right, and I never know what's going to be a hit and what's going to pass the Adam's scruples over there. So I landed on Goya.
Why is it me? Eric's usually the one shitting on sauces.
Well, there's no jams, there's no jellies, there's no preserves. Oh, but anywho.
We're away from barbecue sauces, sweet
barbecue
sauces.
hot sauces are
Hot
out.
sauces, yeah.
You know, I do have another note that don't let me forget about this.
It's salsa after tonight. I know it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there'll be no more salsas for the rest of this.
We've definitely done salsas before, so I would say let's steer away from salsas, but
I never did a Goya before.
that's true.
That was the
We haven't done many salsas. I think we've only done maybe one, so I think that's pretty fair, but
I feel like there was a second, but I'm not sure.
and we did the tropical mango habanero whatever one or whatever it was.
With Amy.
And I think that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
I thought we did another. I could be wrong.
Could be wrong. But anyways, leads off Tori.
Yeah, what we have here is Goya Medium Salsa Verde Authentic Mexican Salsa. And down below it says a tangy green salsa. So we have salsa 3 times on the label of Goya, just in case you forget. So there you have it.
Which is interesting. Have you guys had this before?
I think I've had Goya products, not this one.
Okay.
I apparently had it, as you had said, not knowing
No,
it.
I don't think you did.
Oh, okay.
I had it.
I
had it on a breakfast dish, like a Mexican breakfast dish. And this is something that they do like big out in like southwestern United States, like California, New Mexico, Utah, maybe not Utah, Arizona, places like that. Texas, I'm sure. They have a dish called chilaquiles, which is, basically like summarized version will be like breakfast nachos with an egg on it, kind of deal. But
sounds delicious.
I've had these before with, I believe it was this exact Goya medium salsa verde salsa, and delightful. A really great breakfast. I kind of wish we had more Mexican places like that out here. So, but that was my experience. But without any further ado, let's get on to the visual description of the outside of the container that we're looking at here tonight. Eric, do you want to take a whack at that?
Yeah, here's your lid, E,
Sure.
so you're not wearing the Salsa Verde salsa.
Let's see how noisily I can make this on here. Okay,
Yeah.
There we go. Really drive Adam up a wall. All right.
I'm
so
already there.
We can tell, bro.
I'm
Switch to
already there.
decaf.
It's been a hard week. It's been a hard week at work.
Have a cigarette.
we got ourselves a very nice, large glass bottle that's got a kind of an interesting shape to it because it's wide, almost like an old timey milk jar, but it comes up to a wider neck than a milk jar. So it's kind of more cylindrical in shape, but still has a nice. It still has a taper to it. It does taper down from maybe I don't know. We call it maybe a 3-inch down to like a 2-inch. So it does taper, but it's not a ton. And then the thing's about maybe 6 inches tall or so, a little over 6 inches. Has a
6 inches tall? Jesus Christ, Eric, that's a girthy 6 inches. Jesus.
Okay,
Put it up
7 inches
Put it up
tall.
on your shelf there. We measured that at one point. That's a 9-incher, right? That's what I thought.
Okay, easily 7 inches, maybe even a touch over 7.
Yeah, more like 7.5. 6 inches.
That's why I always tell the ladies.
Oh,
Anyways,
let's see here. That looks like that's about 6 inches.
anyways, it has a metal.
It would be the
red.
other way, wouldn't it? It would be shorter for
Right.
Yeah, okay, so then my joke doesn't really work, but that's okay. They get the implication. Eric is bad at estimating sizes.
Terrible at it.
That's the joke, by the way.
That's what I would imagine 6 inches would look like if I had ever seen it before. There's a better joke.
Wow. So yeah, it has a metal red cap on it. It says Goya in white text, and then you have a label around the neck, which has a garden bushel of pepper and red pepper and onion and I don't know, some I guess green tomatoes. Duh, that's what it would be. Anyways, authentic Mexican salsa says with fresh vegetables, medium salsa. All purpose, it tells you it has a barcode up there. Come down to the body of the bottle, glass bottle here, and it's got the Goya and white text on a blue background. I think that's kind of interesting. You think it'd have a blue cap to it, but it doesn't.
Huh.
Has navy blue, same blue as the background of the Goya sign as their color for their medium salsa text across the front. Got nutrition facts on one side and ingredients on the other. Can't read those yet.
Off limits.
The label's actually kind of almost boring. It's got a farm on it if you look closely, but the colors are all very close to each other. You got green and tan, and then it's very yellow sky. So it just sort of all kind of blends together. The green is very a yellow green, so it just looks kind of monotone. But it also says product of Mexico on it, and now with sea salt. So that's kind of cool. It's 17.6 ounces or 499 grams.
Cool.
And then the only last neat little detail is that they have tomatoes actually
Oh, yeah.
embossed on the glass
How do you know
on
they're
either
not
side
apples?
of it. They could be apples, but
Could they be peppers?
They couldn't be apples. It has that whole like the tomato like star, like the little like star of greenery.
Yeah, a
on
little
top.
doily it wears on its head.
Yeah, yeah. They're definitely tomatoes.
I don't think there's any tomato in that sauce, though. Spoiler alert.
Green tomatoes. Verde.
Okay, maybe. But getting on to the visual description of the inside of the container, the sauce that we're looking at here tonight, I'll go ahead and lead us off with that. It doesn't look... It looks fine in the bottle. It does not look appetizing when you pour it out. It has a distinctly, like, translucent...
Looks like relish.
It's a...
that's what I was gonna say.
It's like a looser relish, though. It's slimy and goopier looking, though. Honestly, it looks like if you were to, like, puree a frog, that's what I think it would look like.
Oh, come on.
Or like something you could like scrape off a Shrek at the end of the night. You know, that's kind of what it looks like. It's got little darker green chunks in it. Some of them appear to be like pepper, and some of them appear to be some sort of spices. It's loaded with seeds. Eric will be happy. He'll have something to chew on.
Oh, I've been chewing on them this whole time. 22 minutes so far.
A plethora of different colored, like white seeds in different sizes. Look like maybe 3 different sizes. Probably some of them are like a tomatillo, and probably some of them are some of them are clearly a pepper seed. It does appear to have definitely like a blended vegetable matter in it, but it's also, like I said, largely translucent. It almost seems like it was thickened up with maybe our friend xanthan gum.
A bang or two?
Possibly. It is thick, and it doesn't seem naturally thick. Like, they had to do something to this. Like, if you just pureed up stuff, it would not have this consistency. It definitely has, like, whatever the casing is on, like, the outside of, like, tadpoles. That's what the, like, base of the sauce is.
Oh, my goodness.
Salamander sauce is what I'm calling it. But there are some little brown tidbits in it. But, yeah, like I said, other than that, it's green goop. A lot of chunks in it. A lot of like translucent chunks and some darker chunks
or seedy relish. I think that's a very nice way of
certainly not salamander sauce or paste.
Relish has much more like distinct chunk in it. It's got like chunk, space, chunk. This is just kind of like, whole.
Okay, I guess I'll give you
What did you call that, Tori? A fromage or something like that?
A fromage.
Yeah, fromage of different colors and textures in it, which it doesn't. I don't know. It looks a lot better in the bottle when it's kind of solid, and it looks fine when you put it on food. I can attest to that. It looks perfectly fine when you put it on food. But when you look at it in a little glob in a glass dish like Eric has given us here to taste these with, it looks bizarre. It does bear mentioning that Tori was kind enough to bring us some tortilla chips to try this on as a tasting article.
Yeah, I know you love those tortilla chips, too.
They were at least a week past when they should have been pitched. They're quite stale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
swing and a miss.
They were good. They were salty. Salt is a flavor enhancer, as Eric has mentioned many times before. The chips were a little bit stale, but they did their purpose of delivering the salsa into my mouth, and they did it admirably at that.
Indeed.
So I have no complaints about that. Just that I'll have to pick up the pieces of my shattered teeth off the floor later after trying them. Tori, you were fine because you just took your one tooth out and just gummed it.
I just gummed them. Yep.
You got that one tooth that's just floating around in there, but
I'm no stranger to old stale foods.
Well, exactly. Your teeth are hardened from years of battling with stale foods, so they were fine. Mine were accustomed to a softer palate.
I just crunch them up with a spoon and eat them like cereal.
Have you guys ever done that? I already know Eric has.
Of course. Absolutely.
That's disgusting. I find that so disgusting where you like crunch up chips and put them in and churn them into the salsa and eat them like that.
Or the end of every bag of chips that I ever had. Yeah, absolutely.
That's disgusting.
I just drink the end of the bag of chips.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't like churning them into the salsa though.
They get caught in my throat too easily. I gotta churn them up with a utensil and take them one mouthful at a time.
You gotta be careful to get things stuck in your throat because next thing you know, you've got uvulatitis.
Oh, right. No. There was a number of angles you could have went with that.
Uvulatitis, so...
That's probably the least offensive one.
Yeah, right. You don't want that.
It's the weirdest, though.
Oh, it is the bizarre. It is the most quintessential Eric, I will say that.
Is it uvulitis or uvulatitis?
I don't remember. We went back this before.
Okay.
We went back on this before. I think uvulitis sounds better, but I think Eric said uvulatitis is correct.
Yeah. I have to phone a physician.
Yeah, I mean...
Have a segment.
We don't have to say it again. Don't take medical advice from us, even if it's talking about pouring bags of chips into your throat causing uvulatitis. So don't listen to us on pronunciations either, for that matter. So
side effects may vary.
But with all that being said, I think it's time for us to get on to the initial tasting notes. Tori, you want to lead us off with that?
Yeah, I thought it was really nice, and it had a nice heat to it. I'm not sure if it deserves a heat rating or not, but I thought the heat that was there was very, very pleasant. I got You mentioned that vegetable matter. You used that word specifically. You did, Adam.
Yes.
And I think that vegetable matter that you speak of, at least in some part, may be a little cilantro. Because I think that's what I'm tasting.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So the cilantro is good.
I see some sort of herb in there.
Undoubtedly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is really good.
In a small chunk, though. Not like a Mexican food where they put the whole leaf in there.
Oh, yeah, right. It at least is shredded to some degree.
Yes.
Yeah, the slime doesn't bother me. The texture doesn't bother me at all. I mean, so speaking for me, I don't know. I think E may hear me on this one. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I didn't think it was bad either on a spoon, like I'm having it right now, or on the aforementioned stale chip. But yeah, the heat hangs around with you for a little while. I was on board E when you mentioned the tomatoes right off the bat, but now I'm not certain. I got a couple of scoops in the old hole here, the old mouth hole. And
I'm putting my money on tomatillo.
I'm not sold. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to know where it goes. I don't think it's tart enough for green apples. I don't know.
Green apples.
Or excuse me.
Certainly not for green apples.
Green apples. We got apples on the side of the container.
Yeah.
Threw me off. Yeah, right. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the green tomato thing. It should be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. But I like it. It's tangy. It's spicy. I could see all those suggestions on the side of the bottle, just slamming it out of the park. And I'm not even that big of a fan of salsa in general. And yeah, I sort of like this.
I guess I could have read the suggestions, huh? I just glazed right over them, didn't I?
Better no time like the present, I suppose, right?
Sure.
It's an all-purpose salsa. You can pour it on tacos, burritos, fajitas, tamales, pastas, stews, salads, and eggs. Excellent for poultry, pork, and beef. Ideal for dipping.
Yeah, I will say excellent on eggs is accurate. I don't know if I'd put it on pasta. That seems weird to me.
That seems weird.
Maybe if you're doing like some kind of a Mexican pasta salad or something. I don't know. But what else would you put in the pasta? Maybe this can be a recipe for later.
Oh.
Okay.
I had some slammin' chimichangas yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, that would have been real good
Where
on
from?
it. El Campesino, of course.
Nice.
Yeah, of course.
Yum.
Yeah, it's objectively good sauce. I don't like it as much on its own. Like the weird texture gets to me when it's on its own, the sliminess. On a chip or really anything else, you put it on some other food and it kind of breaks up that weird sliminess, and it's fine. That's fine with me. It does have a good flavor. It's got a little bit of heat to it. It has a flavor which I'm taking a hard stance on this. It's got to have tomatillos in it. Because I think I recognize that flavor as being from tomatillos, where it's almost kind of like a slightly unripe tomato crossed with like a little bit of like almost like a citrusy note, That's what they've definitely got that green color, and they've got that small seed that I see in there. So I'm strongly guessing it's tomatillo in there. And I'm also gonna guess, I'm assuming probably jalapeno, although not 100% sure. Jalapeno tends to have like a much darker green color to them, but sometimes when they're like pickled and stuff, it tends to be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to say it's getting the heat from somewhere, not a ton. I'm going to guess this is mostly tomatillo with some jalapeno thrown in for heat, and that's where you're getting the green from. That's my hard stance guess.
Ooh.
But yeah, it is good. It's got a good balance. It's got almost like a little bit of an umami richness to it too, which I thought was interesting because it's not necessarily the easiest taste to get in a salsa. But one of the things that you get natural MSG from is tomatoes and presumably tomatillos as well, which is again adds that umami flavor.
You are a fountain of knowledge.
I think we talked about that before on the show.
I don't recall that. Particular
really?
Factoid?
Yeah,
No.
natural MSG in things like mushrooms, tomatoes, Parmesan cheese. I thought we talked about this on the show. Okay, whatever. So, but that's what I'm guessing is
Unreal.
that you're getting a savory richness from that to some extent. I think there probably is some salt in this too, though, which is also helping that. But
Sea salt.
Now
yeah,
it's
that's
sea
right.
salt.
They did say sea salt. Yeah, so I did hear that on the show at least. But yeah, it's quite good. It's got a texture to it. It's got the seed to it, which I don't necessarily need, but it's not hurting anything, especially on something dense and crunchy like a chip. And like I said, on something like chilaquiles, umami.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, with an egg on there, with that real nice yolk on this stuff. Like this stuff does slap on an egg. I will say that. Throw some of those stale chips, throw an egg on top of those, and then slap some of the stuff on top. You got yourself like poor man's chilaquiles, and I think you'll like it a lot. So, what about you, Eric?
My dinner.
Good. Now, you guys are nailing it. I mean, there's not a lot I could add to it other than try and just like take it from the top myself here. I mean, you smell it. It smells fresh and bright. And you smell a little bit of like vinegar and like garden. Like you smell like a slight vinegar pop, and then like if you walk out into a garden.
Garden's a good way to describe it.
In like springtime, right after a rain, it smells like that.
You know, it's interesting. We've said that about other sauces on the show. Almost all the ones we've said that about had jalapeno in some extent.
Huh.
Yellowbird, we talked about. Yeah. There was another jalapeno one we talked about recently, which is eluding me. I think maybe it was that Desert Heat one. Was that a jalapeno Desert Heat one?
There was one. Yeah, the green, the Verde.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like all those kind of have like that gardeny freshness note. Maybe something with jalapenos opens your nostrils up.
Yeah, and it's tasty. It hits you with a little bit of vinegar and cilantro and a little pop in the beginning, and then it mellows it out with a little bit of heat and a little bit of salty umami-ness, like you were saying, Adam.
Umami.
It's damn good.
Do you think this needs a heat rating?
I would give it a 0.125. I give it an eighth of a point.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Like, it does have a little bit of a bite for a second, but it fades away so fast.
But it does build. The more you eat it, like if you just like shovel spoonful after spoonful, I'll tell you what, it starts to build up. It starts to creep into the territory of like a 1, even a 1.5. But
I think a child could eat this, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Even a fairly picky child could eat this.
There's probably one gripe about the thing is that it calls it medium salsa, and this is far from any medium I've ever had.
Well, it doesn't. It's not like it has no heat, it's not.
No,
it's not sour cream,
They could call it like a what was it, mild or
mild. I think is fair to say. I think I would call it some mild personally,
or a light salsa.
Ooh,
it's the light version. That might even like work to their like marketing. People are like, oh, must be like healthy or something. It's the light version of salsa.
Light version.
I feel like salsas are
diet salsa,
fairly healthy foods to begin with.
Oh, they totally are.
Sodium in there, but it's other than that, it's just vegetable matter, like we discussed. So
vegetable matter
seems pretty innocuous.
And it's been a while since I've had Moe's green Verde salsa. I remember liking theirs a lot too. I think theirs is hotter though, for sure. For sure.
Theirs is a little bit more pureed too, isn't it? A little bit smoother.
This is pretty pureed.
This is pretty smooth too, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm struggling because I'm glad this doesn't have more of a chunk in it. Like, I think that would be weird if it was more like a traditional salsa with a chunk in it. Because one of my favorite, I'm not a huge fan of like salsa in general. What I much prefer is like a pico de gallo, where it's got like the fresh chunks of all the things in it. I actually like that a lot better.
No, I like salsa over pico de gallo personally.
I like a fresher onion, I think, is what it really does it for me. I don't like where it's all like swimming in the soup. I do like salsa. You guys can attest that I have eaten salsa until I puked before. So it clearly doesn't slow me down at all. But like if I have my choice, the pico de gallo is where I'm aiming.
And when I make my own personal salsa, I tend to put lots of garlic and lots of onion in it,
and sugar and stuff too,
and sugar and red wine vinegar. To balance the sugar.
That's weird too.
No, it's in a lot of salsas.
Weird.
I think. All right.
Strange. Bizarre.
So what is pico de gallo anyway?
It's Spanish for pick of the chicken.
Of course.
I actually don't know if that's true or not. Gallo, I think, is rooster.
That was pollo.
Gallo is rooster, I think.
Oh.
So I always say pico de gallo is pick of the chicken. I don't know if that's true or not. Let's do it. Let's do a literal translation just to see. But I think gallo is actually rooster.
It was like a play on words, like pick of the morning, like the fresh pick from the garden.
Go down with the rooster.
Right, you go down with the rooster. First thing in the morning.
I think that is kind of like the general beak of rooster.
Oh. That's the way it was eaten.
Has nothing to do with roosters or birds in general.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, it just means beak of rooster. So I guess I was
out here asking the tough questions.
Yeah, I was right about the rooster thing. So yeah, I guess I don't know. Still doesn't quite make a whole lot of sense to me, but
okay.
It says some believe that it was this because it was originally eaten by pinching between the thumb and finger and making the shape of a rooster's beak, essentially, as you put it into
like
your mouth.
Such a stretch.
Yeah, you stretching.
That seems like a real stretch because why are you calling it that as opposed to salsa?
Finger looking good?
Salsa. Like what is different about how you eat that versus salsa? I don't know. That seems weird. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is I like it, and it's harder to find in stores.
So what is it?
Oh, it's like fresh salsa.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like not, you've probably seen it. It's in like more, it's like diced into little, very easily discernible squares, and it's not like swimming in like a goopy soup type thing. Yeah, I'm sure you've had it on lots of things and just thought it was probably salsa.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I didn't even think twice about it.
Here, we'll pull this up for the listeners too, because this is something that is interesting. So I don't know if you can see here, but see how it's kind of like a very distinctly like individual chunks without a lot of the soup swimming around.
Indeed.
Versus the salsa, which has got much more of the soup, and they're all kind of like a pickled, homogenized, and you can tell it's been sitting around for a minute.
Much more soupy.
Yeah, so that's like I think the primary difference is that like pico de gallo is much more like just chunks of fresher vegetables. It's typically like a fresh dish.
And it doesn't appear to be too hot. Too spicy?
You can make it with whatever vegetables you want. So you can kind of do the same thing with salsa, like temper it to your taste. But I think, traditionally it's got a heavy-handed tomato in it, and it's got some white onion, and then like a lesser degree of pepper in it. So
okay,
yeah, I think it's a very like fresh. If you want something more toothsome, that's what you would go with.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my personal preference. I like a little chunk of tomato like that. I think that's the ideal size for tomato. I would go so far as to say that's a hard stance I'll take. I'm not a big tomato slice kind of guy. I like little tomato chunks like that because I get a little bite.
So let me riddle you this, Batman. How does one go about making pico de gallo and avoiding the soup? I mean, you're making them out of the same tomato, are you not?
You are, but the ones that you're making the salsa out of, you usually use like a vinegar and you can it, so there's heat involved. Whereas pico de gallo has no heat involved at all. Just throw it all in a bowl. So you still do get like some water, but you can kind of strain that off. And there'll usually be a little, if you buy a tub of it, there'll usually be a little water in the bottom. But it's just water. It's not, like I said, there's not all the salsa, and it's not heated. It's not as pureed as like salsa can be.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I quite like it. But with all that being said, it's time for us to get on to Eric's favorite segment of the show, the ingredients.
All right. So, Adam nailed it right off the bat. It's water and tomatillo.
Booyah!
Jalapeno, peppers, onion, coriander, sea salt, modified cornstarch, xanthan gum,
Yeah,
Bang,
man.
bang.
citric acid, and ascorbic acid.
Ascorbic.
No, what is that?
Ascorbic.
Ascorbic, thank you.
And, coriander is cilantro.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
Oh, we're learning so
Same
much
plant.
this episode.
Damn.
I thought they were in the same family. I didn't realize it was the same darn thing.
They're the same plant, and I think some of it is like they'll call like sometimes like the seed / stem they'll call coriander, and they'll grind that into like a spice versus the leaves, which are cilantro, but it's all the same plant.
I'll be
Yeah, I can say that with good confidence. But yeah, tomatillo is not something you see a lot in most American cooking, and I don't think most people know what to do with them. Have you ever seen a tomatillo before?
It's wrapped up in a leaf, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of like in that brown husky skin thing, and it looks
Yeah.
like a green tomato under that. But they do have much more of like a limey, citrusy kind of flavor in addition to the traditional tomato flavors that you get. So, kind of interesting.
Super tasty.
I do think we can take a look at the website. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot on there, but maybe there's a little bit of a mention. I know one of the first things I noticed when we looked at it earlier was that the salsa verde on there looks distinctly like brownish orange, and it looks very vibrantly green here in real life. Kind of bizarre.
I think it was just poor lighting, I guess.
Yeah, I assume so. You'd think they would want to take a picture that was more representative of the actual product.
They got to get a sweet light box like we do.
Yeah, exactly. And for those who aren't familiar, Goya has, if you walk down the Mexican aisle or at your local grocery store, probably, I don't know, half the aisle's Goya products. They've
Yeah.
got seasonings, they've got beans, they've got rice, they've got all sorts of dips and stuff like this. Goya is just a producer of Mexican foods. So it's fair to say that they've got you covered as far as that goes. Yeah, I don't even know. We would have a long time even reading all the food items they make. Like they make, like I said, beans and grains.
Beverages.
Seafood and meat.
They've got your cooking bases, sauces, marinades.
A variety of confectionery products.
They have dairy and deli, apparently.
You've got your frozen ingredients,
They have flowers.
Yeah, frozen, ready-to-eat meals.
oils.
And we got a variety of organic products.
Olives and capers.
You've got pantry items.
Rices, which of course, yellow rice and jasmine.
Various seasonings.
They've got snacks and cookies.
And finally, empanada dough.
Now, I do have both of these products. They're seasonings. They have both Sazon Goya and Goya Adobe, and I have both of those in my house, and they're both kind of interesting, thing to perk up rice and stuff with.
Huh.
You can get the Sazon with or without saffron in it as well.
And they make literally everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could easily take up an entire aisle, so we're not even going to really go into all the different stuff they have. And even the sauces, I think, alone would be an overwhelming amount. Actually, this doesn't look too bad. Oh, wait, it's because they're all broken down into subproducts.
Yeah, we have subcategories. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
so just for reference, cooking bases, they have 11 products under that. Mexican-style salsas, they've got 6 other products for that. Like, they've got, 50 different things here just on their cooking bases and marinades easily. So we're not going to go into all those, but maybe we'll take a quick look at the other Mexican-style salsas. I think that's what this would fall under, too. Yeah, go ahead and rip that out, Tori.
Salsa, my favorite, pico de gallo, the mild version.
Then the salsa verde we tried tonight, and then
We have a hot salsa pico de gallo.
and then they've got a Mexican green salsa.
Mexican red salsa in a can, 7 ounces worth.
And a salsa taqueria. Cannot.
Keep trying, E.
Taqueria? Wasn't? No? Right?
There's no I there. I think it's just taquera,
Taquera. Okay.
something like that. I probably said it wrong too. That'd be funny. But anyway, so they've got quite the host of different sauces on there that we're, like I said, we're not going to go any further in any more detail on, but you will find no lack of Goya products in your local supermarket, even as far as the northeast corner of Pennsylvania, like we are. So,
Or the Southwest, if you're.
or the Southwest. If you're people that lived in Pittsburgh and you lived
That's
in the
right.
Southwest,
We
you
eat
know.
our Wimpies with some Goya every once in a while.
But wow, I still don't quite know how you pulled that one off, Eric. It's quite the lapse. You lived here for how many years? Longer than I have.
Longer than you. Yeah.
So what,
Geography,
2010?
not my friend.
Yeah. Oof.
Oofies.
You've lived probably in Pittsburgh longer than you ever lived in Northeast Ohio. Because I'm like pretty close on that cusp.
Right?
No, I'm not that close, but
98 to 2005. So yeah, I was only there for 7 years. So yeah, easily been in Pittsburgh for longer.
yeah, next
Nice.
year, this very next year, less than a year from now, I will be on 10 years of living in Pittsburgh. That's crazy.
Nice.
It's a long ass time. Yeah, a third of my life. Insane. On a whim. I moved here basically more or less on a whim. And stayed on even more of a whim. So, yeah, pretty wild. But, cool. Well, I think it's time now for us to get on to the ratings portion of the show. I think I'm going to go first on this. I don't normally go first. For me, it's pretty good. It definitely serves a variety of purposes. It's good on its own. Like, you could try a little bite of it. The texture, I think, is weird, but it's fine. This isn't something that I think you would ever eat on its own, though. Like, obviously, no sane person is just going to dip a spoon into this and start chowing down. So,
E.
I'm not a sane person. I'm not even gonna argue that.
I have a spoon hanging on my bowl right now.
I know, yeah.
and I've yet to have this on any food, even stale tortilla chips, that it wasn't good on. So, I think, to me, the only thing that I would improve if I was going to improve something was, like, maybe the texture is a little bit weirder than it needs to be. That's really about it. I think the heat was quite pleasant. So, I think I'm going to come in with it at, I think, an 8. I think that's pretty fair. He said, not perfect to me. A little bit wanting. You know, it's not my ideal food, but it does a damn good job of what it's trying to do. So, how about you, Eric?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pluses to this. I do have to agree with you about that texture thing. Maybe just a touch too much of that xanthan gum in there going on. I don't know.
I think so. Because remember how we made like that weird ass slime out of the... That's what I'm thinking.
Out of
like
the viscous vinegar?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I think you have to add something to this, otherwise it would be loose as a goose. But, man, that's weird.
So, no, and I think you're fair, though, and accurate about how good it tastes and how... I think this really can be a great component in a recipe, or, you know, it really, like you said, jazz up your morning breakfast and whatnot. That really shines on foods more than by itself, for sure. But I think it's very tasty by itself. So I was going to give it a 7, but I'm thinking maybe more like a 7.5 now.
Wow.
So
This is why I don't go first. I influence.
you influenced, yes,
I'm an
you did.
influencer. Put me on TikTok.
Don't give yourself that much credit.
Good.
How
Hit a
about
story.
that? Yeah, I was really delightfully surprised. If I had, I know, Goya products, obviously, it appears ubiquitous. And so I'm certain I've had them at some point in time. Whether or not I was cognizant of it is a whole nother story. But today I got the pleasure of being cognizant of it. And I'm glad that I was, because I was very pleasantly surprised with our friends at Goya. So I liked it a whole lot. And it shined on a very old, very stale tortilla chip. So, boy, if you would give it a fresh tortilla chip, I can only imagine what that would do for it. So, I had 8 in my brain before you even opened your trap there, Adam. So,
Wow.
So do not give yourself Don't pat yourself on the back. Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back there. But yeah, I'm going to stick with a snowman. I'm going to stick with an ocho. Keeping it with the Spanish theme, I'm going to give it an ocho. How about that for you?
Very nice.
I just had a revelation. Two things.
Hit me.
Two things I want to cover. One thing, you guys remember when we tried Marmite?
Yes.
Yes.
They had that yeast extract stuff. We were talking about MSG naturally occurring in that. I'm pretty sure that's the episode we talked about naturally occurring MSG, and we probably talked about it in other products too.
Okay.
I just put my thinker to that. I'm usually pretty good about remembering stuff, and that was what came up to me. Is I think it was probably in that Marmite episode that we talked about that naturally occurring MSG.
I remember us not liking it very much, being way too strong. Those were the standouts of that episode.
Yeah, that was wild.
The other funny thing, I'm sure you guys will appreciate this because this is just a stereotypically me story. But I was out, like I said, I was out in work travel, so I was out with some people from work in Cleveland, and the one guy, one of my buddies out there, got like 4 phone calls in a row and from like an 800 number, and he didn't know who was calling him. So they left a voicemail, and they said, "Hey, this is Giant Eagle calling." John Eagle, of course. Mr. John himself, John Eagle. And
Not the grocery store.
no, it was Giant Eagle.
Okay.
He's
And-
making a joke.
Okay.
And yeah, I was trying. They apparently were calling him about a recall notice on Jif peanut butter. Apparently there's been some sort of like an E. coli outbreak or salmonella or something like that, you know. I don't know. I didn't pay it. This isn't slander. I don't know what it was. It was one of those. It was some sort of outbreak that they're doing a recall for. Don't sue me, Jif peanut butter. You've got enough problems of your own right now.
Yeah, obviously.
But and it was funny because he got like 4 phone calls, and then several other people in our group got phone calls, and I assume it was because they had purchased Jif peanut butter and they had like a rewards card with their phone number on file, so they were calling them to issue recalls for the peanut butter. But we went as a group to lunch the one day at the aforementioned Swenson's, who is known for their milkshakes in particular. And one of the featured things they had on their paper menus that they'll give you was a peanut butter milkshake. One of the people I went with there was attempting to order that, and I was kind of flirting with a young, I know this is, you know, stereotypical Adam, I was flirting with a young waitress who came out to help us, and she had said that, oh, we actually don't have the peanut butter milkshake, and I said, oh, is that because it's Jif's peanut butter? And she's like, yes. She's like, yeah, how did you know? I was like, oh, there's this recall. And she's like, yeah. She's like, we've got like 4 gigantic, like industrial-sized tubs of it that we're gonna have to get rid of.
Oh no.
And I was like, well, load some in the back of the Jeep. I'll take some. I'm like, you know, I'll roll the dice. What are the odds that all of it's contaminated, you know? She didn't give me any.
Shocking.
But it was funny because we also went out to dinner later that day, and again, I was
With the waitress?
no, with a different restaurant, no waitress.
No.
No, yeah, I did not go out to dinner with a waitress, and similar group of guys out, and another waitress out there, and I was of course giving her a hard time. And they had peanut butter pie on the menu, and they said, oh, well, you know, we're out of the peanut butter pie right now. And I said, oh, is it because it's Jif? And she just looked at me, like, clearly waiting for a punchline, because I've been jagging her pretty hard this whole time. I'm like, no, I'm being serious. Like, this isn't like a setup. Like, is it Jif? And she's like, oh. And she's like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, okay, well, it was this massive recall, you know, so very much a traditional Adam story. So.
Nice. Well done.
But yeah, so there's something that I thought was related to Soft-Spoken in reference to sauces we haven't tried yet. We haven't tried peanut butter.
That is true.
We tried the peanut butter.
Shit.
We tried that peanut butter maple Kodiak stuff. That was the closest we came to an actual peanut butter.
Oh.
I mean, I feel like if you show up here with like Skippy peanut butter, you'd be like, ugh. Or if you come up here with like,
Well, you don't have
some
to show up
other
with
like
Skippy
lousy
peanut butter. My dad, we've talked about my dad before on the show. My dad would always, he would always buy 2 types of peanut butter.
What?
He would buy the normal peanut butter for things that you would typically use it for.
No.
And then, where do you think I'm going with this?
Dude, I have no clue.
Well, you can use peanut butter to get like gum out of your hair. You can use peanut butter maybe on some other weird like shop purposes or something.
Yeah, he would buy peanut butter to bait rat traps with and also feed to the dogs as a treat. But in order to, he would use like the same knife. So in order to make sure he didn't cross-contaminate there, he would keep different brands, one for human consumption and one for dog and rat consumption. And the one that he used for dog and rat consumption was Skippy's. So when he said Skippy's, I was like, we're not trying that. The one peanut butter I will never buy. I can't. I don't think I've ever tried it before. I can't eat it. It's dog peanut butter.
And that's why. It's been seared into your memory as dog and rat.
Just remember like the rotten knife sitting on top of the can going into mouse traps. So yeah, it's not something that you associate with food after that. So
that's hilarious.
well, I think that's going to do it for us this week for the Goya medium salsa verde, authentic Mexican salsa, tasty green salsa, now with sea salt, product from Mexico. And all that being said,
It's a long title.
Eric,
Yes.
it's time for a little recipe.
I knew there was time for it. I was wondering why you were ending it early. I'm like, come on, you got time.
All right, you already know what I'm going to do to you here, right?
Well, I mean, I hope you're going to ask how I would make this on pasta.
Yeah, I want you to come up with like some sort of like, and this has to be involved. It can't just be putting this on pasta and eating it. Like you gotta go through a few steps
There's
here,
definitely some more things.
He knows about recipes.
Tell us your pasta dish.
Yeah, I thought about
With
it
salsa verde.
as soon as you said that. I thought it was crazy on pasta.
And I've never given you like time to think about it before too. So
That's
I'm
true.
expecting my really high expectations, which frequently does not bode well for you and me. So
usually let you down there.
yeah,
Bring the
so
noise, E.
let's see
Come
what
on.
you got.
I'm
All
cheering
right.
you on.
So I would make macaroni, just the typical elbow macaroni,
Okay,
and then I would get
al dente.
Of course, sure.
Of course.
I mean, I would rather al dente personally, but you can cook it however you want.
It's your chance to play God.
That's right.
I hate it when people overcook noodles,
Overcooked pasta.
especially in macaroni and cheese. But anyways,
And then I would get a can of those like spicy Mexican beans, the ones that are like the white ones that have like a little bit of like salsa almost in them, but they're hot. They got, I think, probably a little bit of vinegar in them too. So we're
Salsa
staying
beans?
in top. Yeah, they're like a spicy salsa bean. I know that
Like
Aldi
pickled or
sells them.
something?
Yeah, they're a little. They have a little pickleness taste
I
to
don't
them.
think
A
I've ever
little bit
seen
of
these
vinegar.
before.
Yeah, pull that
But they
up.
definitely bring up a bit of heat to them too. So, and I'm sure Goya probably makes a version of them too. They're kind of like a white, like a navy bean,
Like a
maybe.
black eyed pea type thing.
Or they're not black eyed peas because they're distinctive. I would know that. It's just like a white bean. I don't know. It looks like a navy bean.
All right,
But they're like, pickled and hot. And
cannellini maybe.
could be. But aren't those like bigger? Huh?
Yeah, did you
they're
say like a
fairly
pinto bean?
large.
Okay,
What?
all right.
Okay. Anyways, spicy beans. You can find them. I believe in you. Open up the can, dump them in, mix them with your saucepan of macaroni that you make. I would be generous with this. I would probably pour half this can. If I was making a whole pot of this, right, I would pour half this bottle, probably a good 8 ounces of this Verde salsa in there. Mix that in there as well. And what else would I do? Oh yeah, chop up like a sweet onion. Put that in there.
Okay.
And
What about like some
you could do red.
perfectly white chicken? Could you?
No, I'm not gonna. No, this is a vegetarian meal here. You could do red
Where's the
onion
beef?
if you want. That would give it some color and maybe like a different kind of taste. I think sweet onions would play better to it personally, but if you're looking for that whole like color presentation thing, you can certainly do some red onion. And then I would just top with a little bit of like Monterey Jack cheese, shredded. Just sprinkle that on top of it. I think that would be
Just like a dish
delightful.
served hot or cold,
Cold.
or like room temp.
Cold, yeah, you cool the.
It's almost
So-
like a weird Mexican pasta salad type of thing.
Yeah, basically a salsa pasta salad with those beans and what. I think the flavor would be fantastic. I mean, the salsa, that onion crunch, and the
It could be
little bit of
good.
cheese and a little bit of spice.
I feel like it's wanting some sort of like meat, but that's just me.
Yeah, like a chorizo or something.
So you could put a sausage, I guess, in there, like with the
Oh, you
what's that
absolutely could.
andouille, whatever is that called?
Yeah,
Andouille.
that's like a Cajun thing, but yeah,
Oh, it
That's
is a
spicy
Cajun
too,
thing, but
yeah.
it's
it's like a
spicy.
French Cajun
Yeah,
sausage. They have chorizo both in link form and in like a ground form.
that is true. Chorizo would be much more. I just remember last time I went on the great hunt through Pittsburgh trying to find chorizo, and I ended up getting andouille sausage instead because I could not find it. I went to 4 different grocery stores, and I was like, nope, there is no chorizo to be found.
Interesting.
That was a depressing trip, multiple trips.
Well, that is.
Did I let you down as
No,
usual?
it sounds like, I was kind of hoping you'd throw some more exciting ingredients in there. Some, maybe spice, take it up a notch or something, but.
Well, I think those beans are pretty darn spicy, and then the salsa has a little bit of kick, and then
not with the heat. I mean, like, you only have like 3 ingredients there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't need to go overboard. Sometimes
hoping
simple is
you're
better.
It used to really be like putting a twist on things. That seems like pretty like playing it safe for having an entire episode to think about it. I could see if you were doing like, a freshly seared tri-tip, like sliced up over top of that or something,
Sure. Yeah, you could. Like I said, any protein would probably be good on it, even chicken. You could.
No guacamole, not like slicing up avocado or anything.
No, I wouldn't add guacamole to it. Too buttery and.
That's what I was like, maybe chunks of
just
avocado,
mixes too.
just to round out some of the some of the acidic, notes, like something a little bit creamier, but that's okay. To each his own.
If it's more like raw, if it's not like, it's not soft enough, then at which point, then you shouldn't be cutting up that the avocado yet. So, anyways. And now
it's time for Touching Thoughts with Tori.
With me?
Yeah, I let Eric get out of his closing thoughts. I made him do a recipe.
Wow.
I know I have to measure my expectations carefully for Eric. If I can get anything out of him, that's a plus. So.
Oh, wow. Well, you said something important there, and you said something that ties directly in to Tori's Touching Thoughts. I said it backwards. Touching Thoughts with me, Tori, and that is managing expectations. It's important to manage expectations because, boy, it is easy to get ahead of yourself when that goal seems like light years away and it's long time away and it's insurmountable. Boy, that can really be a bummer, and that can really drag you down. So you manage the expectation, and hey, you may camp out for a night or two before you get to that destination, of course, metaphorically speaking. But it's okay, and it's okay to take it day at a time. And, baby steps. I say it all the time, baby steps are good. But, hey, manage expectations is also very important. So I invite you to do that this week. And, boy, I love having you here. It is just such a delight. And we love being here, and I can't wait for next week. I hope you can't either. That'll do it for me.
Cool. Well, thank you guys always so much for listening. We hope you have a nice, happy Memorial Day, whether that should be in the future or the present or the past, whenever the show comes out.
It's the end of the show.
With all that being said, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Just for you. Check out our Instagram. We like to have some fun over there. We post the sauce bottle pics if you're curious, and the occasional meme. That's going to be Sauce Spoken Official. Despite our humble nature, we are accepting donations, believe it or not. Look us up on PayPal. That's going to be at Sauce Spoken. Hey, and if you like what you hear, grease those palms, babe. Lastly, roll up your sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty at saucespoken.wordpress.com. We have show notes and details. Check it out. Share us with a family member or a friend. If you're enjoying it, I'm certain they will too. Good night.